The fear of, "What if I fail?" has ever prevented you from starting something you deeply desired? Thoughts like, "I will fail, I'm not good enough for this, they will say I couldn't do it, I can't do it." How many times have you sabotaged yourself with such thoughts? It's normal to feel this occasionally. However, if these thoughts consume your daily life, work, school, or even social life enough to affect, you may be suffering from chronic fear of failure. Yes, it's a phobia. Like most phobias, it's an abnormal/excessive, unfounded, and constantly recurring type of fear. And, as can be seen in many phobias, the fear of failure leads to a restricted/tightened/narrowed lifestyle. It's a self-imposed inhibition from taking action due to the fear of failure, even though there is a great desire to bring something to life. Stopping right at the point of taking a step towards the goal, after surpassing the stages of desire and goal setting, is quite common due to this fear. As anyone who has lived knows, this is a kind of mental paralysis. However, there is nothing to worry about the fear that prevents us from performing at the level of our potential and directly affects our quality of life because it is not a permanent and unchangeable situation, and it is possible to overcome it. In this video, we will conduct a detailed examination of the causes of this problem and how it can be overcome. If you're ready, let's get started. Sometimes failure can seem like one of our greatest fears in life. However, let's not forget that failure is a matter of personal perspective, and everyone's definition is different. We can often fall into mistaken thoughts about failure. For example, not reaching a specific goal or not achieving the desired outcome in a project can make us label ourselves as failures. However, in reality, failure is only a detail or result and can stem from various reasons. So, it's essential to understand the reasons behind what we call failures. Many factors, such as psychological, environmental, or other influences, can trigger the feeling of failure. The important thing is to objectively evaluate these factors and not perceive failure as a personal inadequacy. Understanding the psychological factors underlying the fear of failure is also a crucial part of this process. Past negative experiences or societal expectations may be feeding negative feelings about failure. Recognizing these feelings and thinking about them openly is the first step in overcoming the fear of failure. Another crucial step in dealing with failure is to think solution-oriented. Failure is, in fact, a learning process. By learning from our mistakes, identifying our shortcomings, we can develop ourselves and become stronger in the next step. Instead of losing our motivation during this process, seeing failure as an opportunity can help us discover our inner strength. It is important to ask ourselves the following question: is failure really a wall that will stop me, or is it a driving force to achieve something better? Let's not forget that success is often built on many experiences of failure. These experiences not only teach us how to reach our goals more effectively but also teach us our personal strengths and resilience. So, seeing failure as a regular part of this process will be beneficial. The fear of failure is often associated with imagining negative scenarios. The question, "What if I fail?" keeps circulating in our minds. However, it's essential to understand that the negative scenarios are just a mental game. In reality, failure is usually not as dreadful as we think. Therefore, when facing the fear of failure, expressing these fears in writing can be helpful. Putting our fears on paper, making them tangible, can help us gain a more rational perspective. This step allows us to see what our fears are, make peace with them, and manage them more easily. Let's remember that the fear of failure is often an emotion that hinders us from fully utilizing our potential. Overcoming these fears is essential for personal growth and development. At this point, it may be useful to ask ourselves the following questions: what am I really afraid of achieving? Does this fear prevent me from moving to a better place than my current situation? When you understand the answer and reach awareness, you will realize that your fears are actually groundless, and when you see that you can fix it, the dormant power within you will awaken. Another way to cope with the fear of failure is to create a plan to manage these fears. Taking our fears step by step, breaking them down into small pieces, and solving these pieces make the fear of failure more manageable. Sometimes, what creates these fears is not the simplicity or quality but the quantity. Dealing with problems that you have magnified in your mind by dividing them into specific pieces or approaching problems step by step will make it easier for you to solve these problems. If we want to understand and manage the fear of failure, we must first remember that these fears not only exist beyond a mental game but also contain opportunities for growth and learning. Turning failure into a learning process is possible by seeing the lessons and opportunities it provides. At this point, evaluating failures as lessons and opportunities, beyond negative feelings, can be helpful. Failure often indicates a temporary situation in reaching a specific goal. However, not allowing this situation to leave a permanent impact and focusing on progress in our success journey is essential. When dealing with failure, it may be useful to ask ourselves the following questions. What can I learn from this experience? What skills can I develop? How else can I approach the situation? These questions can guide us in turning failure into an opportunity. At this stage, focusing on Edison's quote, "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work," will help us better understand the subject. Acknowledging that you have encountered only something that didn't work and trying to motivate yourself to try different ways will provide positive energy in your endeavor, even in moments of disappointment. Continuing to try, even in moments of disappointment, is one of the most important steps on the road to success. Like Edison, when you think you have failed, just remind yourself that you have only encountered something that didn't work and try to motivate yourself to try different paths. Because, as in the end of the story, you will have learned what not to do and will have achieved success. One of the most crucial steps in overcoming the fear of failure is to be kind to ourselves. Everyone can face failure from time to time, and this is entirely normal. Blaming yourself, feeling inadequate, or directing unjust criticism can diminish your motivation instead of contributing to the solution. Therefore, you should frequently remind yourself of how valuable you are and that you have the power to overcome all problems. The important thing is to evaluate these experiences positively and move on to the next step stronger. Also, the fear of failure you experience is often not from you but from environmental, cultural, or social factors. Societal expectations, family pressure, or our internal standards can be factors that nourish these fears. Remember that every individual is different, and success holds different meanings for everyone. At this point, it is important to determine our own definitions and goals. Trying to meet the expectations or standards of others leads us to misidentify problems and deviate from our real potential in solving these problems. It is important to chart our own course and define success in our eyes to reduce the fear of failure. The fear of failure is not something to be afraid of, it is, in fact, a call. It's a call that warns you that it's time for your inner hero to wake up, a call you need to pay attention to. Perhaps you are receiving one of the most important messages that will change your life. So, listen to this call and don't forget to do what you need to do.